Hello once again, dear viewers. You're watching ERi-TV. Welcome to this special edition of Open Mic. As you can see, I am at the Asmara Palace Hotel, where the training and capacity building workshop on human rights and United Nations human rights mechanisms training is taking place, jointly organized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and by the Office of the UN High Commission for Human Rights. So here this training encompasses individuals from all line ministries, and we will be presenting you excerpts of their interviews that we have conducted with them right here. So I hope you enjoy the program. Please stay tuned.
Let me invite my resident coordinator from the UN office, Ms. Nahla Valji, for her opening remarks.
Excellencies, distinguished participants and colleagues, it is an honor to join you today as we open this important workshop. I want to begin by recognizing that we are here because of the initiative of the government of the state of Eritrea, who proposed this workshop and requested OHCHR expertise. This workshop reflects your commitment to strengthening national capacity and deepening engagement with international human rights mechanisms. I want to also acknowledge the engagement, the progress, and efforts of Eritrea in initiating constructive dialogue on human rights issues and engaging actively with relevant international and regional mechanisms. The United Nations is pleased to be your partner in this effort, walking alongside you as you advance priorities you have defined for your country's development. Our collaboration together is guided by the 2022-26 UN Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework, which aligns UN support with Eritrea's national objectives and the global vision of the 2030 Agenda on Sustainable Development Goals. These shared frameworks remind us that human rights and development are not parallel tracks. They reinforce one another. Rights only have real meaning when they translate into improved lives, stronger institutions, and greater opportunities for all people. In this spirit, advancing economic, social, and cultural rights is essential. These rights, access to education, housing, decent work, food security, are not abstract legal commitments. They are the foundations of dignity, resilience, and inclusive growth. When communities can enjoy these rights in practice, we move closer to fulfilling the promise of leaving no one behind. Eritrea's preparations for its national report under the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights reflects an important step. This work demonstrates national ownership and a recognition that Eritrea's development ambitions are strengthened through transparency and dialogue. It is also important to acknowledge that human rights are part of Eritrea's own national agenda. Eritrea has served until very recently on the Human Rights Council, contributing to global discussions and participating in the work of shaping the international human rights architecture. This history signals the value Eritrea places on cooperative dialogue within the multilateral system. I hope this workshop will equip you with practical tools to support implementation of treaty obligations and to more deeply integrate human rights approaches into national policies and programs. I encourage you to actively participate, to challenge yourselves and to challenge the facilitators, to be frank in your exchanges, and to explore how these standards can be applied in ways that deliver meaningful benefits for communities across the country. The United Nations country team, including OHCHR, remains committed to supporting Eritrea as a trusted and constructive partner. We stand ready to provide technical support, share comparative experiences, and develop innovative approaches tailored to Eritrea's priorities and realities. Let us use this workshop to strengthen our partnership, reinforce national capacities, and build on the momentum towards deeper engagement with UN human rights mechanisms. I have no doubt that the outcomes of this training will be translated into action, further advancing Eritrea's vision for development grounded in dignity and rights. Thank you for your commitment. I wish you a productive and inspiring 3 days. I first want to say that this training, it's the first comprehensive human rights training that's taking place here in Eritrea, and it's come at the request of government. And so we're just very proud as the UN that we can provide the expertise, the facilitation of this, but this really is the initiative and leadership of the government of Eritrea. This training will in the main be focused on economic, social and cultural rights. And I think the main message here is that development and rights go hand in hand. And Eritrea's vision of development grounded in dignity, equality, social justice, these are all reflected in human rights. So what is important about this training is it will build the capacity to be able to monitor, implement and report on how it is that Eritrea is progressing on human rights.
The training that's organized today and will be going for this next 3 days is about the international human rights mechanism and the UN system in general. So this training was organized in cooperation between the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the State of Eritrea. It was an initiative that the Minister of Foreign Affairs thinks that we need this training to enhance the capacity of our national institutions to develop a better understanding of what the human rights mechanisms are, what human rights are, and also share our experience and challenges with international community and the UN in general. So to start with the historical background is since independence and right after independence, Eritrea thinks and better understands that we need to be part of this system and interact with the international community through acceding or ratifying the international human rights treaties. So right after independence, Eritrea became a state party to the International Convention on the Rights of the Child in 1995. And after that, it also accedes to the International Convention on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women. So all in all, Eritrea is a state party to 7 out of the 9 international human rights treaties. So the list is Eritrea is a state party to the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, International Covenant on on Civil, Political Rights, the Convention Against Torture, the 2 conventions that I mentioned earlier, the Convention on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, the Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities, and yeah, that's the 7 conventions that Eritrea is a state party to. So those conventions carry their own obligations that Eritrea has to do. One of the obligations being Eritrea has to report periodically to the committees that are established by those conventions. So in doing the reporting exercise, it's an exercise through which Eritrea tell the international community about the achievements Eritrea had made so far, the lessons learned, best practices, and also we learn from the lessons of the experience of other countries as well. So by being a member, Eritrea served 2 terms in the Human Rights Council for the last 8 years. And Eritrea has been reporting frequently to those international committees, respective committees for those conventions. So the reporting exercise is not an easy one. It requires expertise, it requires technical knowledge. So the purpose of organizing this workshop is to better understand the system and enhance the knowledge of our respective institutions that are participating in the reporting exercise.
It gives me a great honor to deliver these remarks on behalf of His Excellency Osman Saleh, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the State of Eritrea, on the occasion of this important training and capacity building workshop on human rights and United Nations human rights mechanisms. At the outset, I wish to extend our appreciation to the United Nations country team in Eritrea, Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, and all those who have worked closely with the government to organize this timely and meaningful event. The presence of participants from different ministries, institutions, and partners reflect the shared importance we attach to the promotion and protection of human rights in our national development agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, Eritrea is a state party to 7 of the 9 core international human rights treaties, each of which carries distinct reporting periodicities, procedural requirements, and follow-up mechanisms. Over the years, the government of Eritrea has submitted a number of periodic reports to the respective treaty bodies, while others are currently in preparation and due in the near future. However, compared to the number of treaties to which Eritrea is a state party, there remains some reports that are yet to be submitted, largely due to capacity constraints and the extensive technical and interinstitutional coordination such process requires. The successful implementation of such commitments depends not only upon political will, which Eritrea possesses in full measure, but also upon the capacity of national institutions to translate commitments into action. This indeed is the reason our gathering today to consolidate understanding, strengthen institutional mechanisms, enhance technical competence, harmonize data collection, and improve interministerial collaboration, thereby ensuring that the future reporting is more systematic, evidence-based, and reflective of the country's progress and realities on the ground. Distinguished participants, beyond the procedure dimension, the process of preparing reports is in itself an exercise in self-assessment and national learning. It enables institutions to take stock of achievements, identify challenges, and draw lessons for improved implementation of rights within the framework of national priorities. The United Nations mechanism for reporting and follow-up thus stands as a testament to the virtues of constructive dialogue. Eritrea's engagement with treaty boards and its active participation in successive cycles of the Universal Periodic Review (UPR) have provided valuable platforms to share its national experience, highlight progress, and exchange perspective within the broader international community. The recommendations emerging from this process have in turn informed and enriched national frameworks for social development, legal reform, and institutional strengthening. Ladies and gentlemen, capacity building is both the means and the measure of sustainable progress. It is through knowledge, skill, and interinstitutional synergy that nations fortify the rule of law and ensure the human rights are not merely proclaimed but lived. We therefore commend the steadfast partnership of the United Nations country team and its agencies in supporting Eritrea's national efforts. The government remains equally resolute in ensuring that such cooperation remains anchored in sovereign equality, mutual trust, and results-oriented approach that delivers tangible benefits to our people. This workshop, thus, is a reaffirmation and shared purpose. It is an opportunity to strengthen the capacity of institutions to exchange experience and to consolidate a shared understanding of human rights can best be promoted within Eritrea's specific context and priorities. It's also an opportunity for the experts from the Office of High Commissioner for Human Rights to gain a more nuanced appreciation of Eritrea, its people, its perspectives, and the national realities that inform its approach to human rights and development. Such mutual learning is the foundation of genuine partnership and effective cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by saying, on behalf of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I wish to reiterate the government's continued commitment to constructive engagement with the United Nations and all international partners in promoting human rights and sustainable development. Eritrea stands ready to deepen dialogue, share experience, and strengthen cooperation based on mutual respect and shared objectives. Let's therefore use this workshop to enhance our collective knowledge, foster mutual understanding, and lay the groundwork for stronger national mechanisms that ensure human rights remains at the heart of Eritrea's social and economic transformation. I wish you all productive discussions and successful workshop. I thank you.
My name is Nathaniel Lebia. I'm here on behalf of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, specifically from the Department of International Organizations. I'm a senior human rights and humanitarian affairs expert. So this training that's taking place here in Asmara Palace for the next 3 days is human rights mechanisms and treaties, capacity building and training for national institutions and ministries. The aim of this particular training workshop is to best equip our ministries and unions as well as institutions on United Nations treaty mechanisms and how that system specifically works. So Eritrea is a state party to 7 of the 9 core treaties, and these core treaties have corresponding committees that Eritrea is obligated to report to. In order to do this, the government has an interministerial committee in place that oversees the implementation of these core treaties. For instance, the Convention on the Rights of the Child is overseen by the Minister of Labour and Social Welfare. Within that ministry, which takes lead on this particular treaty, there is an interministerial committee in place that is made up of several key institutions and ministries that are relevant in terms of implementing the recommendations that are within that particular treaty. So this interministerial committee oversees this implementation process, and the aim of this training is for this interministerial treaty to take stock of its work done so far and on how to best move forward within the international standards.
This is incredibly well organized. I'm so happy to see we've got colleagues from ministries of education, health, agriculture, immigration, foreign affairs, of course, who's been taking the lead in organizing this. But it's a packed room, and when we first started this, we were talking about a 2-day training for 20 people, and government kept coming back and saying, no, we want 3 days, and they really took leadership on the agenda, and the numbers kept expanding, and so just very excited with the energy in the room, and with the fact that this is a broad-based conversation across ministries.
We have been working, as I told you earlier, and reporting to those respective human rights treaties, the treaty bodies or the committees that are in charge of these conventions. So in doing this reporting exercise, we realize that the capacity of our national institutions is different, and so we understand that we need to enhance this capacity. We need our national institutions to better understand what obligations that we have, what is the reporting guidelines, what the reporting exercise is in general, and to not only to understand it, but also to find a better way or to make our reports more concise report that express our challenges, our best practices, the achievements that we have made so far. And through these reports, we don't only express our challenges and best practice, but also we learn from the experience of other countries. And in other ways, we also express our reservation about this international system. So it's not a system that's fully fledged, or it's a system that has its own pros and cons. So we not only express our achievements and challenges, but also we express our reservation about the system in general, the weakness of the system, and other things.
I'm so excited that we're doing this. I think that this is a first step, and really want to, as I encourage the participants in there, to be frank in their exchanges, to be frank with the facilitators, and to really think about what next. How can we deepen our partnership and do more together? I think Eritrea is demonstrating they've national human rights are a national issue. Eritrea until recently served on the Human Rights Council in Geneva, and really taking leadership on these issues, and we just want to be able to partner on that going forward.
The impressions on this particular training that was first initiated by the government of Eritrea and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in collaboration with the United Nations country team and Office of the High Commissioner is there is a national mechanism in place that implements core treaties, and there's an international standard or practice. This training will aim on how best to consolidate both efforts. At the end of the day, is how to bring forward ways and to consolidate both mechanisms in terms of to implement the core treaties in the best way possible, and to equip this national interministerial committee with the international standards.
Dear viewers, this training will go on for a consecutive 3 days, starting from today, the 18th of November 2025. And I hope you've enjoyed the program, and thank you for being with us.